All right, so we've done a couple things with variables so far. We can create a variable and set it equal to some value. The last video looked at getting that value from a user. So that would include using the window.prompt method. So we can let the user basically establish what the value of this variable is going to be. One other thing to talk about, let's say I have a paragraph element on my website. So here is a paragraph element with some simple text inside of it. Well, it turns out in my JavaScript is I can create a variable. So I'll give it the name of text. And I can actually set this variable to be equal to an entire HTML element. So that's maybe a bit confusing, but I can basically set this variable to be equal to this element. And why would I want to do that? Well, if I can basically establish this link to an HTML element, I can change this HTML element in my JavaScript. So let's just do one step at a time here. I'm going to give my paragraph element a class, and I'll just say it is the text. I'll name the class text. I'm going to create a variable in my JavaScript to basically equal this element. And we do that by going document querySelector, and then you put the name of the class or the ID in these brackets. So my paragraph has a class. So classes are denoted with the period. And my class name is text, T-E-X-T. So what this one line of code lets me do is it lets me change all of these properties about my paragraph elements through the use of this text variable. So I always thought of this process as basically linking your JavaScript to your HTML. I have linked this variable to this element, so now that I can change this element. So one of the most common changes you will make to an element. So for example, I've got some paragraph. I got this paragraph says this is some text. I can use my link, my variable, and I can change all of these different things through other methods. One of the most common ones is inner HTML, which lets you change the text that's inside that element. So I could say, hey, the text originally started as this, but I'm going to change it to different text. So for example, when my website first loads, the blueprint for it is to say this is some text, but JavaScript is going to immediately change it to I have changed the text because I have this link variable. So now when I open my website, you can see I've got different text. So that's not always incredibly useful. The method is useful, but the implementation is pretty weak. So for example, I'm going to add a button to my page, and I will say, click me. So we're back to square one. I just have this is some text. I have a button that says click me. What I could do is I could define an on-click. I could write some JavaScript in an on-click attribute. So how about when they click the button, I will use my link, my variable that links to my paragraph elements. And now I will change single quotations. I have changed the text through a button click. This would be more applicable in terms of, you know, an actual functioning interactive website. So now everything looks all normal, but when I click the button, that on-click attribute fires, this line of JavaScript gets executed, and this line changes the inner HTML of this element, and it changes it to whatever I want it to be. We will be doing this a lot moving forward, linking to elements on our HTML, or linking to HTML elements on our website.